guys, and welcome to another episode of Money Matters. Now, today is an even more special episode because, as most of you know, we are in the midst of Black Lives Matter protests. This is happening all over the world and it's off the back of the brutal murder of George Floyd. So for today's episode, we felt it would be more than necessary to bring on someone who owns a black business, has been through the struggles of owning a black business and giving you guys the education that's necessary to take on maybe your own business or just learn from the man himself. So we are joined today by Michael.
What's going on, everybody? How are you? My name is Michael K. I'm an avid entrepreneur. I own multiple businesses within Southwark, Greenwich, and Lambeth. I operate a Chinese export business. I think when we first met, I was the previous owner of Luxford, which I've now converted to Talking Drum. I also own one of the best salons in South London, which is RXB London. But most importantly, my bread and butter is actually construction. I develop commercial and residential properties. I buy land and we develop from scratch. We do JV, which is joint venture. And we also do development loans, which is, buying a piece of land, getting planning permission, going through building control and building from scratch.
This is important for the black community because you're probably a rarity in our community for the things that you have done and have accomplished. So we're going to start off with Luxford Bar. So for most people in the black community, if you've been to Luxford Bar, you know the vibe. We've probably been there for events like DLT, Date Night, Lux Sunday started there as well. So let's talk about Luxford Bar. Okay. Why are you invested in Luxford Bar? And then we'll take it from there.
We, as black people, I think we're not really connected with hospitality as much as we think we are. So I think going out is a recent thing for us. So we made some money coming up in business, investment and all that jazz. And me and my friends, we started going out to restaurants and bars in central London. But one thing that was missing was there was nothing, of similar affinity. There was no Afrobeat, there was no vibes. It was just amazing cocktail, central London, extortionate prices. I thought to myself, we're in this place, we're spending maybe £5,000 one night. The typical bottle culture, champagne lifestyle, all of that jazz. I genuinely thought to myself, it must be that easy. It's just a matter of just buying a bottle and reselling it. I couldn't be more wrong. So that was actually what birthed Luxford. Luxford was birthed from the fact that we were going out so much. I thought to myself, because I like to own what I use. If I use something repetitively, I try to think of a way, how can I own it? And so as a result of that, we birthed Luxford Bar. We were supposed to go Clapham, but Clapham was saturated. Everyone in Clapham will tell you, and Clapham had
so many bars.
And they had certain obligations where the owners had to meet up once every single week to discuss about Clapham. They had particular agendas against black people as well. It was just, so I thought, what, let's go and be trailblazers. Let's go to Peckham. I didn't think it was gonna work, but I was like, what do we have to lose? I always have a mantra that says, I can die here, I know what it looks like, or I can die over there. At least it's a new scenery. So we went to Peckham and it birthed Luxford Bar, like you said.
Dope. I've personally used the venue and I had a great experience. I think it was refreshing. I didn't know at the time that it was owned by a black man. So I just thought this is another venue and just, used it, but I had a great time. But one of the things that we want to discuss in terms of owning, not just Luxford Bar, but owning a black business in general is the types of struggles that you're faced with, and not just on a corporate level, but also on a community level, the kind of struggles that the community adds to, owning a black business. So talk us through an average night at Lux. No, let me not say average night. Talk us through the worst night you had at Luxford Bar and let's take it from there.
Okay. To put in context for people, Luxford Bar is a 4,000 square feet space, which between me and you is probably one of the biggest spaces owned by, a black individual in South London. Certain nights we'll have 400 people in the building having fun. And ideally, I think the demographics for Luxford Bar was age 18 to about, I'd say, 35. And when you have those characters in the building, it can kind of get, as the young people say, techie. It can kind of get a bit technical. And what I mean by that is that whenever you mix testosterone, alcohol, different postcodes, women, for example, sometimes you can have a lot of young men, stepping out of line. I think I was talking to Max just before we started recording and saying how some of the issues that we face, especially as bar owners, is from the patrons themselves. One of the challenges that we would encounter as a bar restaurant was licensing. Police and local authority, they police and they license black-owned premises totally differently. Once your patrons are predominantly black, the requirements and the expectation that they have for you is totally different to that they will have of someone that their patrons are Caucasian. Facts. So we would have police come up to us and ask questions such as, you know, with your patrons being so young, why are they so favorable towards you? Like they'll be asking leading questions as to insinuate or suggest that you might be
in business with them.
Thank you. You might be a gang member, money laundering. I'm talking about, you're saying to them, like, what do you mean? Like, are you asking me why we're so successful? What exactly are you asking me? These are some of the things that you face as a black business owner.
Do you think they're intimidated by that image, the idea?
That is not to be debated. They are naturally intimidated, and
Why?
I'll tell you why. When I go to white pubs, and I'm a white pub kind of guy, do you know what I mean? I'm a Cronenberg, you know, Peanuts kind of guy, and I'm sitting there. When they get drunk and they want to fight, they will punch each other up, stagger home, go and sleep. When we get intoxicated and drunk, and our ego's bruised, we resume to killing each other, stabbing each other. So you could be in a club or dance that's amazing, and it can go from 0 to 100 real quick.
So are you saying that they actually have a point in acting this way?
1,000%. I mean, we can sugarcoat it, we can be as polite as we want.
Yeah.
I had a very thriving, successful business called Luxford Bar. It was doing exceptionally well. It was closed down because one foolish kid, oblivious to the impact of his actions, drunk, inebriated, unable to control himself, decided to stab another kid that he doesn't know from nowhere. They had no altercation, no beef, no issues.
Wow.
Just decided to stab him and then walk out the building. As a result of that, it put a lot of pressure and spotlight on us that I said, you know, I'm not going to continue in that direction of this business anymore, because once you own a successful business where there's 400 people in the building every single day with different characteristics, different personas, different upbringing, and different philosophies to life, anything can happen.
Are you saying catering to black people is dangerous in hospitality?
I think until we're able to be responsible enough to respond to the opportunities that we're given by black business owners, yes.
But that would take a long time.
I know, but it takes conversations like this. We're not talking about time. We're talking about the platform to have conversation. A lot of people don't actually know this. They don't know that by stabbing somebody, I've lost my investment of £700,000 because you stupidly decided to look cool in front of your brethren.
And then we ask for more black businesses.
How?
We ask for more black, we want to see black people in positions of power. That is a position of power. DLT, I keep saying DLT because they're very successful as an event organization company.
1,000%.
And that Luxford was very important in that process for them. So if black people cannot own things because every time we own something, we tear it down, then that's an important conversation to have, especially when it comes to money. Money is
So
involved.
would you go back and cater to black people?
1,000%. But if you want me to call a spade as a businessman, and I think the you know, novice and the uninformed, the uneducated, they will turn around and be like, this is me purporting or, you know, pushing for self-hate. No, we're talking about what we're seeing on ground.
So you're saying this is facts?
This is factual,
You're
yeah.
on the field.
I said to you guys, tell me a black-owned nightclub that's been open for more than 10 years without an incident. Let's go to it. But yeah, we can go to pubs that can boast that we've been there since 1866. What's the longevity of our black businesses, especially from an hospitality perspective? If I speak to anyone that owns a bar, they will tell you, this is what we face. I used to be very good friends with the people that own Lotus Bar in Clapham. They were literally one of the impetus as well behind me opening up Luxford Bar. They would say to me, what is wrong with your people? Like, you know when you're having to represent your...
Yeah.
Because you're upstairs.
What's wrong with your people?
What is wrong with your people? Because on a regular basis, back-to-back fights. And then they had to defend themselves because they were one of the only few people in Clapham that were actually letting black people in.
Yeah, I've been to an event there, not even that long ago, this year, I think
They
it
were
was.
one of the only few people that were... So whenever we get the platform,
What are we doing with it?
what are we doing with it? Are we respecting the fact that this is a black-owned business and it has to be preserved? Is there somebody sensible enough to be like, yo, don't do that. Do this. I mean, let me also...
What about security? Like, I'm just a bit intrigued about that situation that you spoke about.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, of course. The young man came in, he stabbed someone.
Yep.
What happened to security? Because another side of it you can look at is that black businesses are not super
Fully
professional.
equipped.
They're not fully equipped. So we can look at it from that angle and say, you didn't really do your job properly. Perfect. No offense. You know, people can say, well, you get better security. Perfect. You basically threw your own business in the trash can.
I mean, we have police officers and that doesn't stop crime. You have, I mean, on the night that this incident happened, our license obligated us to have 2 security guards. We had 15. If somebody decides to put something in between their private part, security doesn't have the permission to search that. So this isn't a conversation about security. It's a mindfulness that we don't tear our own communities things down. Even when people were rioting recently, I'm like, it's great to riot, but are you destroying the very community that you're going to need to go and buy milk from the next day? We're so impulsive.
So did people know that Lux was owned by a black person?
That's the compliment I was actually going to give. When I opened up Luxwood, I spoke to some of the elders or the elders in the community and like, hi, my name is Michael. I am a black owned. I own this, and they were proud. They were very supportive. So the incident didn't happen with a local. It happened with somebody else that came from a totally different neighborhood, didn't understand the dynamic of the place, but most importantly, he was drunk. That's the issue here. So those within the community, some of them are quite supportive. The ones I spoke to, they didn't misbehave. Anytime people wanted to misbehave, they would run up to someone and be like, yo. So I can't thank those people enough, but there was still the conversation that needs to be had with the younger generation to say the impact you have on people is greater than you can imagine.
And I think that when we talk about, of course, this is money matters. So when we bring it back down, we bring it back to finance. And one of the things that you said was that you invested 700,000. Now even that number is rattling for a lot of people because they probably did not even know that that's the amount of money it takes to put into business. So let's talk a little bit about the money aspect and how you were able to invest that amount of money into a company like Luxwood Bar, because one of the most important things that we've been talking about along with the Black Lives Matter movement is about creating wealth within the black community. How do we create this wealth? How do we create things that we can pass on to the next generation, to our kids? So, you know, you're into construction and you have businesses that you could possibly pass on. How do we do that? And how did you get that financial education so other people could do the same?
It was the weirdest story possible. So I opened up the 10 contract phones with O2 and I sold the iPhones, but I was still obligated to pay for the contract. But it gave me immediate cash capital. The thing within our community is that we are deprived of having access to funding. We are. Either due to ignorance, miseducation, misrepresentation, and also lack of services available. So when I was coming up, I had to be extremely inventive. Student loan was a major catalyst. Too often, the younger generation now, I see them buying Rolexes, and kudos to them, you know, to each their own. At least they're not even wasting it. There's a parable that says when kids get money, the first thing they buy is sweets. So we can't floor them. Do you know what I mean? At least they're not burning.
It's only natural.
We can't fault them. It takes time to learn. Time teaches us something. So, but fortunate for me, I used my money and I bought a first property in Thornton Heath. I bought a property in Thornton Heath, like I'm talking a good 11 years ago.
Where did you get the money from?
Student loan.
Oh, you took student loan money and bought a first property.
But let's be honest with ourselves. Most of us don't need a student loan money. Some do, but those of us that are living at home with parents, managing, connecting the dots, working.
So that's $9,000.
Yeah.
So you saved it.
If you get the grant
over the year.
No, but back in the days, if you were buying a house in Thornton Heath, it was £79,000.
Talking about a different era as well.
It's a different. Do you know what I mean? And it's not even a different era. It's still happening till today. You can take your student loan, but because you're busy following all your friends that are doing dumb nonsense.
You have to go up north for that though.
Bingo. You can go outside, but then I always say to the younger generation, buy from outside London and come closer to London.
Yeah.
Bingo. You take, you know, if you want to buy a house in Liverpool or maybe Durham, County Durham, for example, £44,000 on a 10% deposit. You put that down, you're laughing straight to the bank. Ignore it. You might not make a lot of returns yields
immediately,
but that's not the point. You've got your name on a property that you own. If you now want to gangbang, go and gangbang in County Durham because you now own something to protect over there. But you're gangbanging on an estate
that you don't own.
That your mom's going to get kicked out soon because they're going to increase the rent. Like, we own nothing.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, why are we trying to own everything here? Why don't we just go back and rebuild our country,
until Africa sorts out their infrastructure? Let's not get into that conversation. One of the biggest mistakes our parents made was they did not tie nothing down in this country. They were doing all that back home nonsense, and now most of them are struggling and regretting it. They should have bought houses down here. Right to buy is free. You don't need a deposit for right to buy. All you needed to do was apply for your right to buy. You now own a house. But because mum was listening to Auntie Bola was listening to Bookie's mum was listening to T's mum, they collected a lot of cameo pots. Your parents used to collect gold pots. The crew behind they're laughing. I like the fact I got you guys still. They used to collect cameo pots for what reason? We can't take that to no pawnbrokers and make money now. Why did they not buy something over here? I've got an Asian friend, guys, he's 56 years old. He doesn't know what a CV is. Deep it. Because from school, he's been working for his dad. Facts.
But can you really blame the African community for us not having enough information, because remember, I'm just looking at it from the other side. English is not our first language, number one. A lot of our parents
Let's just
have
not
come
narrow
here.
it down just to African as well. Let's
Okay,
talk
the
about
black community.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well, you
'cause
can't
I've
blame.
got issues with Jamaicans. You guys have been here too long to not have done a lot of stuff. Like, let me just put it
Yeah.
out there casual.
We're
Like,
gonna get to them. They're gonna get
throw
their
it out
corn
there. I
in a
just had to.
second.
Said they're corn.
Like, they've been here for so long. Like, they don't even own a major restaurant. Like, let's put it out there.
Ayana's London, Canary Wharf.
Oh, you can list one. Well done.
I know, but
Keep
at
going.
least, okay.
To be
okay.
honest, Jamaicans or Caribbeans have been here just as long as Asians.
Yes.
But their struggle
know.
is different. I think that we have to acknowowledge that their struggle is different. When
They,
we're
but
talking
they all
about,
face racism, systematic
of course,
racism.
but their struggle is definitely different. African people came here in a time where the Jamaicans had already put in mad work in the UK. That's why they are part of the Windrush generation, and a lot of them were still awaiting reparations.
Not
so they put
Africans.
in
We're talking
mad
about
work.
Asians and versus Caribbeans.
can't- That's what I'm
She's saying this, the
You can't
struggles.
compare the two
Tomatoes and
because-
pears. I mean, I get where you're coming from.
It's
but
similar.
When are we
It's
going to
coming
stop?
from the same family.
When are we going to stop the justification?
struggles are coming from the same family.
But when are we just going to stop the justification? They've been here longer now. That they spent more time bullying us and cussing us than actually building something. And now we've overtaken them. Facts.
Who's overtaken who? Sorry.
Nigerians are the front runners. You guys really want to go into this one?
Let's go. Let's go deep. Dive deep into this one.
In terms of Black Britain right now, from an economical perspective, I genuinely believe that a lot of Nigerians are the front runners of that. From an entrepreneurial perspective, facts. And I'm not even being biased.
Do you think, naturally speaking, there's a lot more Nigerians in the UK
One in four,
than every other
yes.
ethnic background, ethnic minority? Sorry.
1 in 4 Black people are Nigerian. We totally understand that. But our drive is different. And I wish, and I mean this from the most purest part, I'm not one to seek clout or fans. I'm good in my position. No one pays my bill. But I will say this, I do genuinely wish the Caribbeans would have done a lot more than what they've done.
I think that in addition to what you're saying, for me, I think one of the biggest issues that has not just stopped Caribbean people, but Black people in general from owning things is the divisiveness between us in our community. There's so much division in our community as Black people. Caribbeans are here, Africans are here, Nigerians are here,
But
Ghanaians are
that's
here.
only natural that's like
and
that.
I hear you,
because
but we don't have the time for that. We don't have the different, like white people, for example, they can start doing all of that because they have the privilege. We don't.
Okay,
So
I understand what you're saying,
We're
but
already,
remember,
we're already
I understand what
behind.
you're saying.
We're already
Sia,
losing
I
the
understand what you're
race.
saying, but remember, and I agree with what he's saying. The Caribbeans came here before us. It's like, okay, I'll give you an example. It's like you growing up and realizing life and understanding life, and then you look at your parents and say, Mom, Dad, you failed me.
Yeah.
You failed me. And do you know what? You're entitled to say that.
Yes.
Do you understand? Because you have observation skills. You pick up, you understand that, okay, this is what a father should be like. This is what, and you learn. And then you can look at your parents and say, this one is very, from the most respectful place, that your parents are very useless or not. Do you understand? Because they're there for you. You didn't send God an email for you to be born. You're born. You're here now. Provide a platform for me. Do you understand? So what from his angle is the Caribbeans have come here before
precedents
us.
were set.
Provide a platform.
They didn't set a precedence.
We can also work from that. Do you understand? And we can all win together. And you guys can even senior us. Do you understand? You can even be our seniors.
Yeah, because you put
In
us
some
on,
respect.
Yeah.
In terms of him talking about, Max talking about parents failing us, haven't you realized how quick African parents are to start charging you rent the second they believe you start making money? Like, a lot of parents are deducing their children's income
Yep.
too rapidly and too quickly.
Can I ask
Yep.
a question? Isn't that the Caribbean community?
No, that's
It's
the African community.
I think it's just Black people full stop.
Yeah.
The second you earn any money, we want in.
Really?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that live at home, and that's one thing my mum.
Parents
big up my
charging
mum.
their own children.
Yeah,
Mark, to
my-
live in the house.
it's
Your
of
mom's your landlord,
course.
bro. Yes.
One of the things my mum told me, and I remember this growing up, which why I've never charged my daughter rent. My mum said to me, you are supposed to be in my house and save so you can leave this house and buy your own. My mum did not charge me for electric, she did not charge me for light, she didn't charge me for gas, she didn't charge me for anything. And that is even as an adult when I had my daughter living in her household, so we were burning more electric. And she said, no, I'm not taking any money off you. But poverty is the issue.
When you have a culture that literally says that kids are supposed to be your inheritance, that has to stop. Your hard work is supposed to be your inheritance, not what your child has labored or toiled to achieve.
It's the other way around. I heard someone I look up to actually say within the white community they tell the children grow up and I'll give you a house, but within the African community or the Black community is grow up and you buy me a house.
We die, we leave a bill. They die, they leave a will. Never forget that.
Wow.
And on that point,
Wow.
that is
Powerful.
that
That's
is powerful.
Repeat that again. That's very powerful.
They die, they leave a will. We die, we leave a bill. We're always doing offerings every time someone dies.
Can you imagine?
Life insurance is $19.99, even $4.99. It depends on how much you want to get paid out. That's a different conversation for another.
It's relevant.
It's relevant.
It's relevant. Life insurance is £4.99 minimum quote you can get. And that will be what, for 12 grand, even 10 grand, that cover your
At
whole
least it'll
funeral.
cover the funeral. Yeah.
Your
You
kids
know?
your kids will be crying and smiling at the same time.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
mum's gone.
But I'm chopping the money.
Baba.
Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that's 100%. That's 100%.
We're going to move away slightly, but we're going to go a little bit back into business. And I think one of the main things, I think from maybe the last 3 years, we've seen a massive rush in the black business industry in terms of hairstylists, nail
proud of them.
techs.
Well done.
There's almost everything now you can get from a black business. But one of the biggest issues that we've had and I've experienced is the customer service. And I've heard, I think I saw ZZ Mills the other day saying that, we complain about customer service within the black community, but we'll go to Tesco and if there's bad customer service, we'll still go
going
back.
Yes.
But so I've been quite principled in knowing that, okay, if I go somewhere and I get bad experience, I will not go back. And if I do go back, I would have gone through the complaints process, got my due what I feel like I'm owed, and then I might continue shopping with you.
But
within the black community, I have experienced the worst customer service, people that actually don't care about their brand, they just care about getting the money. Once they've got the money, they don't care, they don't know how to protect their clientele, they don't understand that word of mouth is the biggest business crusher, which is why we have people getting aired out on Twitter about their bad business and all of that type of stuff. So why was that important to you? Because I know customer service at Lux was great. I never had any negative experiences. Someone else might have, but I didn't.
All subjective.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like this customer service was great. Was that important to you?
Okay, do you know what it is? Another thing people don't realize is most businesses black-owned businesses, we don't even have enough money to start the business. So then when do you get money to train your staff? People keep forgetting this. We've borrowed money, we've used credit cards, we've used loans just to be able to open up the shop. You're now being told where Tesco's are afforded access to funding, they can close for a whole week and do training. We don't have that opportunity or that platform. So once we open, we throw everybody out there and hope for the best. Number one. Number two, we haven't been in business long enough. The notion of entrepreneurship is a new concept to us. We were, remember, slaves, laboriously toiling people. We're now slowly gravitating towards what it means to mentally look at the psychology of business. That's going to take us time. We are very unforgiving of ourselves.
Yeah.
Understand that, of course, if that business isn't favorable towards you and they're not really responding or they're not receptive, don't write them off to somebody else because somebody else might genuinely have an amazing experience with them. We are too quick to lambast and cuss and destroy a business with a tweet, but you don't even own anything yourself. So please try, customer service is very, very critical and important, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to mitigate the risk when it does fall apart, that you understand the psychology behind it, that business is already struggling and they're trying to navigate through it. Approach them and hope for the best. And if not, don't just destroy them. Somebody else might be able to have a better experience.
Don't just destroy them and do what?
What do you guys normally do, the young people now? Social media, don't ever use this, boycott this, cancelled, I think that's
Cancel
what it's
culture.
called. Cancel culture. I mean, we can't afford to cancel anything. We need everything to stay open right now, especially within our community.
I mean, what are the solutions to lack of generational wealth within the black community?
First thing is life insurance. Let me say this again. Life insurance is pivotal, critical, paramount, necessary. If you are over the age of 18 and you don't have life insurance, I'm shy for you.
Yeah.
You're playing with your life.
You are.
Everyone in my family, once you turn 18 years old, we sit down and we go for your life insurance. I have he's now 22. I've got a 22 years old brother. He has £1 million life insurance in his name.
That's how it has to be.
See?
That's how it has to
But
be.
also, he bought his first house at 18 years old. He's on to his second house now. He's a graduate surveyor. Because horses follow the horse in front of them.
Yes.
I've been able to set a precedent for him and say, listen, bro, this is who we are in this country. We cannot afford to operate subpar to end. You have to make sure you own something and you do the stuff. So I think in terms of wealth creation, it would shock you how much Caucasian and other races get paid out at life insurance. It means as soon as you die, your kids are laughing straight to the bank, Harlem Shake. All the mortgage is paid off, but we don't have that, but we've got lubes on. Does that make any sense?
Oh my God.
Like you've got lubes, you've got rollies, but you cannot afford to pay $49.99 a month for £750,000.
Can you imagine?
and your kids will never have. They
Speak
don't even have
on
to know
it.
you. They don't have to know you. They'll just be like, my dad was an amazing
Yeah.
man.
And these
Yeah.
are all the people, the same people that have so many medical history. You know, these people that are buying rollies, the ones with diabetes, type 2, even type 4, all these different medical histories. You know, they don't understand that, you know what, my health is deteriorating.
Yeah, you're at risk.
You're actually at high risk. Let me get some life insurance in place, not just that critical illness as well. Can you imagine, this is not Africa, you know, over here, you get paid
yes.
if you are sick. They're paying you money if you fall ill. Just listen to that concept. That's how, you know, that's how much money this country has to throw around, and the United States. So these are all things that you need to look into. And if you need these services, we're here. This is what we're here for.
1000%. I mean, definitely create. I believe that you need to make sure you've got life insurance, business opportunities. You need to create ideas. I don't care how small, how big, how tangible. Create ideas. The emancipation of the black man starts with job creation. As long as we keep looking to other races to give us jobs,
We'll forever be in chains.
we're forever going to give out CVs. Like I said, don't forget, 56 years old Asian man doesn't know what a CV is. Create and desire for your kids to have such an experience, that they've never had to work outside of the family. That's what we call legacy. None of this BS about please.
Stop all that, yeah.
Like, it's
Now
boring
more
now.
than ever.
I put 50 on my wrist, same as 50 Cent. I've had that.
One of my
Someone
friends
said that
says,
before.
most of these rappers that you look to, I guarantee you, they own nothing. That's, even if we finish on nothing else, most of these rappers that you look, in terms of asset, net worth, ownership, zilch, they are trying to fool you to part ways with your money. It's important that you invest your money wisely. Buy a piece of land, come together with your brethren, your girlfriend. One of my brethren was like, oh, my girl's waste, she doesn't learn to drive. I said, no, you're waste. Because you haven't done nothing to do about your own life, that she's not
Motivated
prompted.
enough
We
to
have
feel
to,
challenged,
relationships
yeah.
should be about owning stuff together.
Yes.
None of this, let's show up to them on Instagram and, you know, bagels. Bagels should be that you're buying stuff that's tangible, not wasteful.
So to conclude and round up, from what I've heard, you know, we need to create like a black Wall Street of some sort, you know, whereas we can find anything we need within ourselves. You know, if I need to get my car fixed, it's a black garage. If I want to buy food, it's a black restaurant. There should be black Thai food. Just like I've seen there are different communities that are copying jerk chicken,
When you
rice
go
and
to
peas.
Bagel King, is it black people you see behind the counter?
This is
it's
what I'm
not black
saying.
people.
So I think
That's the issue. We love to support anything that doesn't look like
that
us.
doesn't look like us.
We feel validated.
Yes.
It's weird. It's just a weird culture. So I think we need to create within ourselves, and this is a serious conversation. We need to create within ourselves the garages, the people that fix your watches, people that sell clothes, all kinds of things that we need within our community. We need to create.
Just to add to what Max has just said, there's so much sectors that we've overlooked. One of them is construction, for example. There are plumbers and electricians that go home with 80,000 a year. Facts. But because your mom hasn't pushed that, she wants you to be a lawyer or a doctor. You're talking about garages. Most young black men don't even look at that as an attractive industry.
Because
women don't look at that as an attractive industry.
One of my clients is on over 100K a year. I look at his finances. He's my client. Over 100K a year. He owns one garage, just one. Over 100K. And you know what made me proud? He's actually Congolese. So he's from the same country as me. And he's 28 years old.
It would shock you what brings money in. Just try to own something. I mean, we could tell you in different words, just try and own something.
And yeah, so thank you, bro, for coming on the show. You know, you've given us some serious nuggets today as well. And, you know, the conversation was very insightful. Do you have any social media platforms or businesses that you'd want to let people know are around so we can all support?
Super. I mean, you can follow my businesses, Talking Drum London, RXB London, and Housing Best as well. Housingbest.co.uk. Construction, we don't really need social media. We just have a website. Yeah. Or equally, you can follow myself as well, LITEMK on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Honestly, it's been, I was a bit scared, but you guys have been comfortable. Thank you so much, guys.
Guys, this has been an amazing episode. I hope that you are all touched at home and have all learned something from whether it's finance to, you know, owning or just learn something. Guys, we are in the middle of, it's the dawn of a new day It is really the dawn of a new day. Black lives matter more than ever right now.
Black businesses
Black
matter.
businesses matter more than ever, and the black pound matters more than anything. So support black content, support everything black. That's where we're at right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Again, this is Money Matters.